Well, good morning. It's Crazy Cheap Chick, and I am so excited about making dinner tonight. I'm making roasted pork tenderloin with roasted red grapes and red cabbage. And then I'm going to make kind of a red wine glaze to go over it. I think it's going to be really, really good. So let's get cooking. Well, I am pretty excited about this recipe. It's something new. I've never made it before. It's going to be a roasted pork tenderloin with roasted red cabbage and grapes. Okay, that's an unusual combination, but the more I read it, the more I thought it sounded pretty good. And then I'm going to make a side dish of some roasted sweet potatoes, and all these are is diced up sweet potatoes with, right now I've got them coated in olive oil, and I added some rosemary because my mom makes this dish. This is really where I learned this trick from. Once she made these roasted potatoes with rosemary on them, they were so delicious. I've done it that way ever since. So, you know, we all learn from our moms and grandmas how to cook, I guess, even at my age. While that pork is cooking, I'm going to start cutting up the cabbage and the grapes. And I just wanted to mention that I did get this pork tenderloin or fillet, whatever you want to call it, at Aldi's for $2.99. That's a good deal. Dylan sells not the same brand, but a very similar product for $9.99. It was on sale this week for $7.99. And when they're on clearance, I've never seen them even $2.99. So get your pork tenderloin at Aldi. Well, this is seared about perfectly. And I had to turn it on each side because, you know, you want it seared on every single side. This is a pretty easy sheet pan meal. I've got the oven heating up. I've put it on 400. I've got the sweet potatoes all diced up, and all I've done is toss them in olive oil with some rosemary. And we've got the pork loin all braised, and now I'm going to put some red cabbage and grapes around it. And we're going to make a little glaze to go over it too. Well, this has been a pretty easy recipe. I mean, all I did was sear the tenderloin. Now I've put some cut up red cabbage and grapes around it. And we've got our sweet potatoes cut up, and I've just tossed them with olive oil and rosemary. And now I am going to do just a little bit here. I am going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the cabbage and on the pork. And I'm going to put just a little bit of seasoning. I know that was like a barbecue mesquite, but I'm going to put just a little bit more seasoning. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of sage. Sage is always good on pork. And I got this recently, Southern Pecan Rub. Ellis Brothers Company is the name of it. And I kind of bought it on a whim. And I'm going to just put just a little bit of that on there. It's kind of sweet. And so I think something sweet would be really good on pork. And something else is maybe ginger. I'll probably use the ginger in the glaze. And if you don't have a Southern Pecan Rub, because how many people have this sitting around the kitchen, don't worry about it. You don't need it. This is going to be good. We're going to put this in the oven and roast it now. This is the pan I seared the pork loin in, and now I'm going to make a little bit of a glaze in this pan. And this is just a really good red wine, and I'm going to pour some of that in. We don't need a lot. And I'm also going to add in some brown sugar. And I've added in about 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar. And I think I will probably go ahead and maybe put a little bit of ginger in here. I think that might taste good. So let's squeeze a little bit of ginger in. You know, ginger's kind of sweet. And so let's stir this up and start cooking it. And I'm also going to add in some Worcestershire. And probably a little bit more brown sugar. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Depends on how sweet you want it, I guess. Sparky, quiet on the set. so we're just gonna cook this. We're gonna thicken it with some cornstarch. Just gonna be a little bit of a glaze that we're gonna put over the pork. And start thinking about some spices we might want to add. What would you add? Okay, now I'm going to add just a little bit of garlic in there also. And I asked my husband, I said, what spices do you think would sound good? And he's like, well, red pepper, because you got sweet, now it needs a little spicy. So I guess we'll put a little bit of red pepper. I don't like things super spicy, so just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and put in a little bit of garlic. This is going to be so good. I love making glazes. Okay. I think it needs, it's really sweet. I think it needs just a little bit of vinegar. Doesn't need a lot. I just used rice vinegar. And now I'm going to go get the cornstarch so we can thicken it. I know I said cornstarch, and you could use cornstarch, but I really prefer Wondra. It's just a really fine flour. This is another thing my mom taught me. And my mom's a pretty good cook. If your mom teaches you, you gotta believe it. And we're just gonna thicken that. It's like a wine gravy. I mean, how can you go wrong with wine gravy? It's a glaze. Oh, that's gonna be good. I mean, if you could smell it, if there was a smell-o-vision or smell YouTube, you would know how good this is. It smells good. I'm just gonna let it simmer down a little bit to thicken it. I know it's February, this is kind of a fall meal, but I wish you could see how this glaze has turned out. It tastes, what word can I use? I always say fabulous, delightful. I need to come up with a new word because this is really, really, really good. Highly recommended. My husband saying add a little red pepper was probably the right thing to do. It is a little bit sweet and spicy. I don't think you want to overdo the red pepper, but it is good. This is going to be a great glaze. And then we're also going to have a pumpkin pie tonight with this meal. It's kind of a fall meal, even though it's February. And if you like pumpkin pie, this is the messed up one. The one that turned out absolutely perfectly beautiful, I took to an event. But if you like pumpkin pie, then you'll have to check out my video on pumpkin pie because I show how to make this, and it's so easy. I think this glaze turned out pretty good. I took your suggestion and put a little red pepper in it, so taste it.
That is so good.
Yeah. Well, I just took it out of the oven. It looks beautiful, but now I've got to cut into that and make sure it's fully cooked. I sort of had my doubts about this recipe. It seemed a little unusual, but it is one of the best things I've tasted in a long time. And now we are going to add this glaze. And you can see it's like a really thick glaze. We're just going to drizzle it over the meat and put it on the vegetables too if you want. I mean, I'm calling it a glaze. It's really wine gravy. Let's call it what it is. And how can wine gravy not be absolutely delicious? Unless you don't like wine. And if you don't like wine, you're some kind of weirdo. Actually, I don't drink very much wine or alcohol of any kind, but this is really, really good. I'm just going to drizzle this, and we are going to eat it, and it is going to be fabulous. And there's our roasted sweet potatoes, which we're going to add to this. Oh, really, really good. Got that pumpkin pie to look forward to. I just feel like things never turn out as good in a picture as they taste. I mean, those are just fantastic. Everything about this meal, really good. Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. That makes me happy. It makes me think you're probably a pretty good cook because I think that good cooks are always looking for inspiration and looking for new recipes. And I hope you got a little something out of this video. It was really good. And if you did get something out of the video, give me a like, leave me a comment, share this video. All of those things would really help me out. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. And I hope you have a great evening.
Okay, he's up there. I'll grab a bunch of stuff out of this tree to make his nest.
Sparky's over at the edge of the yard. Like, not happy about it. Oh, I see him. He went up the tree.
Yeah. So he grabbed leaves and twigs off this tree.
He's up there somewhere.
Yeah, he's right. You can see him right.
Oh, there I see his tail flicking.
Yeah. He's there busy cutting twigs, stuff in his mouth. You can see all the leaves falling out of there from.
Yeah, I see him. Oh. You gotta go a little higher to get. Oh, he's got a bunch in his mouth, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just cramming his mouth full.
Gotta take just the right twig, I guess.
Okay, there he comes down. And he'll head up this big locust tree over here. So he runs across from there. And once he gets on the tree, we'll go outside and you'll be able to see where his nest is. All right, you're gonna miss him.
So got him so far.
Yeah, everybody's going.
Is that where you're building your house?